Hello everybody, here are our notes for section 1.5. So what we're going to do today is division, and division is not so terrible. It's the same rules as multiplication, so positive divided by positive is a positive, negative divided by negative is also a positive, positive divided by negative and negative divided by positive are both negative. So again, just like multiplication, when the signs are the same, your answer is positive. If you have different signs, your answer is negative. So just a few things here. Don't forget you can never ever divide by 0. And fractions are division problems where it's the numerator or the top number divided by the denominator or bottom number. So top number, divided by bottom number. Okay, so let's look at a few quick examples here. Excuse me for a second. So 30 divided by negative 6. Positive divided by a negative is a negative, so that is negative 5. Again, a fraction is a division problem, so this is negative 10 divided by negative 2. Negative divided by negative is positive 5. So 0 divided by negative 4, it's perfectly fine to divide 0 by a number. So 0 divided by anything, well, that's just 0. And negative 15 divided by 0, here we have 0 on the bottom of a fraction. That's a no-no. So you can never divide by 0, so this is undefined. Sometimes we use the empty set or null set symbol to show that too in math. Be careful though if you do this that you draw it so it doesn't look anything like a 0. Probably easier to just write undefined. Okay, so here's a few more things we're going to do in this section. We're going to do some evaluating with variables where we have to plug in. Okay, so here's the first one. It's 10x squared divided by z. And so we're going to plug in our numbers for x and z in this case. So x is negative 3. So use parentheses with the exponent, or else you might get your signs wrong. And when I put z down here, I have a negative 6. Okay, so we got to be careful. We'll do our exponents first. Negative 3 squared is 9. So this becomes 10 times 9 divided by negative 6. Which is 90 divided by negative 6. And a positive divided by a negative is a negative number, and 90 divided by 6 is 15. Okay, so here we have something similar. We've got absolute value bars this time. And remember, when the variables are written next to each other, it's multiplication. And we'll go ahead and plug everything in. So this is 2, I'm going to use parentheses again, so 2 for y, negative 6 for z, all divided by the opposite, or negative, keep that in there, of negative 3. Sometimes it might help to put parentheses around that too, but don't forget this negative sign is going to come along to the next step. Put the absolute value bars back on there. So we'll do the top first. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12. Still in the absolute value bars, over negative 3, or the opposite of negative 3 is 3. Okay, the opposite of, negative 12 divided by 3 is negative 4, and the absolute value of that is positive 4. Okay, so far so good, I hope. Okay, here's the next one. Okay, this one's a little longer. We're just going to, same thing, plug everything in. I'm going to use parentheses when I plug in the negative numbers just to keep it straight. And remember, this negative is going to come with it. So I have negative, okay, and I'm going to do y squared. So that's 2 squared plus 3 times z plus x all over y sorry about that. Let me cross that out. Sorry about that. Y, I forgot to plug it in. 2 minus negative 3 for x. Okay? And let's see here. If we have enough room to do this one, remember that what we did last time with addition by the opposite for subtraction. So I'm going to change those both to pluses. Okay, maybe that's a little easier to see now. And then I'm going to work it out. Okay, so 2 squared is 4, so I have negative 4 plus 3 times negative 6 plus a negative 18 plus negative 3. Oops, I am running out of room. Sorry about that. 2 plus positive 3 is 5. Okay, let me finish this off down here. Pardon the messiness here. So negative 4 and negative 18 is negative 22, plus a negative 23 is negative 25 over 5. And again, fractions are division with the top divided by the bottom. So 25 divided by 5 is 5, which means negative 25 divided by 5 is negative 5. Okay, sorry about that again. I hope you can read that okay. All right, the next little step, or next little problem, is to find the mean or the average. So remember, with the average, we take all the numbers and we add them up and we divide by how many numbers there are. So in this case, we're going to add these numbers up, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers, so we're going to divide by 5. So here we go. We got negative 3 plus 8 plus, again, I like to use parentheses when I write them in. When I have negatives, plus 13 plus negative 6. All over, I like to write it like a fraction when I do these, 5. And then we'll just work it out. Negative 3 plus 8 is 5. Plus negative 2 is 3. Plus 13 is 16. Plus negative 6 is 10. So the top becomes 10. Again, we're dividing by 5 because there's 5 numbers, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. So the mean or the average is 2. All right, hope that's okay. And the last thing is, some order of operation problems here. Oops, pardon me for a second. All right, so remember your order of operations. You have parentheses first, then exponents. We're not going to really deal with those with these problems, but eventually we will. And then we have multiplication and division, addition and subtraction. Now what's tricky is people sometimes think that multiplication comes before division and addition comes before subtraction, but that is not always true. You want to do whichever one of those operations comes first as you're going through the problem from left to right. Okay, so let me see if I can make it so you can see a little better. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go look through here and we're going to see what we got. Well, we got subtraction, we got addition, and we got division. So division comes before subtraction. So I'm going to do these guys first. Okay, we're going to do the division first. Okay, so negative 15 divided by negative 5 is going to be negative 3. So we're going to replace this little part with the underline here by negative 3. And we end up with negative 10, take away 3, plus 6. So again, I'm going to change this to addition by the opposite. Some of you might be able to do it without that, but for me it helps. Okay, so I have negative 10 plus negative 3, that's negative 13, plus 6. And that is going to be, again, we have different signs, so we subtract them. We get a 7, and the negatives, there's more negatives than positives, so our answer is negative 7. Okay, so hopefully that'll get you through your section 1.5 assignment pretty well. And again, don't forget, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me a message on our Google Classroom. All right, everybody, thank you, and I hope you have a good week.